3 bone-chilling family massacres that will haunt you forever. Shocking true stories revealed. The chilling whispers of tragedy echoed through the corridors of a seemingly ordinary home, where the sun dimmed in the presence of unspoken horror. It was just another evening when tragedy struck, but no one could see the darkness lurking within. Brady family, mom, dad, kids, a portrait of suburban bliss. But underneath that lovely veneer, chaos simmered. The kind of chaos that sends shivers down your spine. Eyes wide, neighbors felt a prickling chill as they watched the police swarm the house like angry wasps. The screams of the children pierced the night air, a haunting symphony of despair that would remain forever etched in their memories. What could drive a seemingly normal family to such a heart-wrenching point? What darkness had taken root in that once happy home? As the evening unfolded, strange details began leaking out. It emerged that the father had been acting odd for weeks, speaking to shadows and having conversations with a voice only he could hear. Friends could only watch, unable to peel back the layers of madness. They'd share furtive glances, nervous laughter bubbling under the surface, a pit in their stomachs telling them something was terribly wrong, something they couldn't yet grasp. Then it happened. In the dead of night, in a fit of unexplainable rage, he turned the weapon on his family. In those final moments, fear blanketed the house, thick and suffocating as reality bent into something grotesque. The flickering lights grew dimmer, moments slowed, and then silence. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As investigators dove into the wreckage of that family's life, they uncovered more secrets, a hidden diary filled with frantic scribblings, notes to an unseen puppet master. What darkness had woven its way into their daily lives? As news spread like wildfire, people began sharing their tales of encounters with the Brady family, each story more bizarre than the last, threads entwining in a tapestry of horror. The puzzle pieces just didn't fit. Where did the love go? What twisted incidents led to this catastrophic meltdown? As the cold wind howled outside, one question hung heavily in the air. Was anyone truly safe from the madness that lurked within the family walls? With every new revelation, the grip of dread tightened, squeezing the breath from everyone's lungs, leaving them gasping for answers. Under the steady glare of bright flashlights, investigators picked carefully through the remnants of the Brady home. Shadows wove between broken furniture and shattered glass, their silent specters hinting at the lives once lived there. Each step resonated with the stillness of tragedy that blanketed the space, amplifying the raw weight of what had just transpired. A detective knelt beside a battered coffee table. There, strewn amongst the clutter, was a family photo, its idyllic image now deeply stained with sorrow. The children's smiles, once vibrant, seemed hauntingly frozen in time. As the detective pocketed the photograph, he felt the chilling grip of the unknown wash over him. The Brady family had been more than just neighbors. They were the heart of this community. Now what remained? Outside the house, whispers curled through the crowd gathered beyond the police tape. The frenzied questions bounced back and forth like a tennis ball. What could have caused it? Had anyone really seen the signs? Faces twisted in disbelief. Others shook their heads in sorrow, minds grappling with the horror of the unbelievable. It was clear. The Brady house had become a gaping wound on their quiet street, an unhealed bruise painted over their shared reality. One neighbor stepped forward, a woman with wild laughter and vibrant lipstick. "I told them to take him to a doctor," she declared, her eyes wide with fear. He kept saying the voices, the malicious whispers, were only growing louder. No one listened. Her voice cracked, and the murmurs shifted, uncertainty spreading faster than the news of the tragedy itself. What if it could happen to them? What if the darkness seeped into their own lives, tearing apart the fabric of their families? As the police dug deeper, they unearthed the diary, a haphazard collection of frantic ink blots, screams etched into every page. "They're coming for us. I can hear them. The shadows speak." One entry sent a shiver up the spine of the lead investigator. as he read lines that echoed the fear and despair that enveloped the home like a vice. "We must warn others," he muttered, slamming the diary shut. The more they uncovered, the deeper the mystery grew, wrapping its icy tendrils around anyone with a tendency to dismiss the signs. Back in town halls buzzed with disbelief. Could a loving family, embedded in the routine of life, succumb to some unseen epidemic of madness? Parents clutched their kids tight, panic-laden discussions brewing over backyard fences. But as the days unfolded, a disquieting pattern presented itself. Those who had once been friends began to share their own haunting connections, experiences distorted by fears left to fester in their minds. Rumors swirled, drawing lines to past tragedies, weaving a narrative thicker than any had anticipated. In a nearby cafe, an elderly man peered over his coffee, eyes full of stories long buried. "I used to hear screams, but I thought it was just kids playing." His voice crackled, igniting flashes of concern and curiosity. What boundaries were breached in that home? What unseen force haunted the inhabitants, giving rise to a battle of minds? A replication of fear settled over the town, as the pieces of this long-standing puzzle only began to surface. The air grew thick, pregnant with unanswered questions that bled into anxious hearts, deepening the strain of uncertainty. And then came the ultimatum. A chilling voice echoed around town, spreading the local legend of the Brady family beyond their street. They weren't alone, it whispered. Others had heard the calls too, and now, they're listening. Could there be more lurking in the shadows than they had ever dared to imagine? The thought alone sent tremors of dread through the community. With every passing moment, the haunting legacy of the Brady family deepened, echoing both warning and despair through each soul it touched. What awaited them next? And at what price would the truth be revealed? The town slumbered under a veil of silence, though whispers of fear echoed in every corner. Days passed and the Brady home became a ghost, a monument to the tragedy that had ripped through the fabric of lives once thought secure. Neighbors watched from doorways and windows, apprehensive glances exchanged as if to say, "What if it comes for us next?" In the dim light of the town hall, a meeting churned with anxious energy. Tension hung thick in the air, palpable as a storm gathering on the horizon. Faces were drawn tight, a collective look of desperation. Parents huddled close, fingers gripping cold metal chairs, hearts racing. Every voice that spoke ignited more concern. "We need to protect our children," someone urged, their voice fracturing under the weight of the sentiment. "But who do we blame?" another retorted, anger flaring up like a match lit in the darkness. "We can't fight shadows we don't understand." The murmur escalated, panic creeping in, wrapping around them like a tightening noose. In that moment, a figure stood and cleared their throat. The elderly man from the cafe, a resident with ties to the past, had gathered the courage to share what he'd kept buried for years. "I knew the Bradys, and I knew their secrets." His voice trembled, but it held the weight of unspoken truths. The room fell silent. There was something different about the new neighbors when they moved in, something wrong. He spoke of the sounds, the screams that his old bones had dismissed, the shadows that sometimes seemed to dart between the trees, whispering secrets that clawed at his sanity. With every detail, each revelation twisted the knife deeper. "I thought it was all nonsense until the screams stopped, and they began to listen to something else." Gasps punctuated the air. A chilling realization swept over the crowd, twisting their stomachs into knots. It wasn't just the Brady family. These malignant whispers had once danced around their streets, teasing the edges of other families' minds, leaving them raw with unresolved dread. Outside the hall, the wind picked up, sending a shiver through the onlookers as if the shadows themselves had come to listen. What lay dormant in their collective memories? What silence had been traded for fear? The sparks of suspicion ignited discussions that branched like veins into past tragedies. A neighbor mentioned strange occurrences in their home, glimpses of shadows that lingered too long, echoes of laughter that rang like a siren-esque call but faded before any could grasp them. As the meeting drew to a close, one last question lingered like smoke in the air. How do we fight what we can't see? Inside a dimly lit corner, a young girl sat, her eyes wide as saucers, peering out into the gathering gloom. It was in that moment that she sensed something in the shadows, not just a flicker of movement, but a presence watching, waiting. She shuddered, wanting to scream but held silent by a force she couldn't understand. What if the whispers had come for her too? Back in the dark corners of her mind, something stirred. Something that had been listening, enthralled by the ever-growing pool of fear. And as the night deepened, the town became a canvas painted with worry, casting long shadows, foretelling the darkness to come. With every heartbeat echoing like a clock ticking toward disaster, the air crackled with unvoiced fears. What if the shadows weren't just around them? It might be that they were already inside. What would this community do when the truth revealed its ugly face? Would they dive into the darkness, or would it claim them first? The chill in the air thickened as night descended. Households shuttered their windows, but not before fleeting silhouettes repainted the walls with shadow. The girl Mia still sat in the corner, her fingers clammy against the fabric of her dress. How long had she waited there, transfixed by fear? Eyes darting, every sound outside made her wince, leaves rustling, the distant bark of a dog. Even the wind felt malicious tonight, heart pounding. She recalled the stories whispered among her friends, tales of forbidden paths and figures that roamed when dusk painted the world in hues of dread. Were these just tales meant to scare children? Or was there truth lurking in their shadows? What if something truly did reside in the dark, just beyond the flickering lights? A loud knock reverberated through the house, pulling Mia from her thoughts. Her pulse quickened. She recognized that knock, the heavy, insistent sound made by someone who wouldn't take no for an answer. It was her father, just home from work. But tonight, for some inexplicable reason, the sound came with a distinct chill, broken and eerie. "Mia, open the door," he barked, but the tone didn't seem right. There was a rough edge, as if dread poured from each syllable. She hesitated. Something inside her screamed to stay hidden. Taking a breath, she rose and moved to the door. The dim light flashed off her father's eyes. Frantic, wild. "Daddy?" she whispered, fear creeping up her spine. But he seemed different, too distant, too full of urgency. "Mia, let me in," he insisted, voice clenching. She sensed something was off. This wasn't just a man desperate to escape the cold. It was something primal clawing at the edges of his sanity. The comfort of his familiar presence twisted itself into anxiety. Why did he seem so terrified? "Mia!" His voice surged louder, splitting the fragile web of quiet that surrounded her. She flinched, indecision paralyzing her. Her heart urged her to open the door sweetly, but something deeper warned her to retreat. Then a sound, faint yet piercing, like a whisper threading through the air behind her. A child's laugh. It was followed by a chilling giggle, sharp as glass. It didn't feel real, yet it resonated with undeniable clarity. It came from the darkness just beyond the safety of her light. Was it just her imagination feeding on fear? Or were there others out there, unseen, waiting to prey on her trepidation? She stepped back from the door, the wood creaking painfully, unsure of what lay on either side. Her father's eyes flickered, glancing at something behind her. The laughter grew louder, swirling around them, palpable, taunting. A collective pulse, echoing from the house next door, a house now locked in shadows and secrets. "Mia, please." He was frantic now, the sincerity breaking through the fear. "You need to trust me." But she could sense his vulnerability, the crack beneath the calm. Was he still the father she knew? Or something more sinister? Just then the laughter stopped and silence fell, thick as fog. An ominous weight descended over them both, the kind that made her want to scream. She caught the gleam of something in her father's hand, a shadow? An object? She couldn't tell through the dim light. Suddenly there was another knock, this time from the window. A soft rhythmic tap, tap, tap. Mia spun around to see a figure standing just outside, the outline obscured but looming. What was it? Who was it? The fear surged through her veins like ice water. She swallowed hard, her throat tight with terror. Then, almost instinctively, a voice came to her, a voice that sent a shiver cascading down her spine. "Mia, don't let them in." As her mind raced, the claustrophobic shadows grew tighter. The warmth of home no longer comforting but a cage, suffocating. There was only one question that echoed in her mind. Who could she trust? The night didn't just darken. It twisted into something much more nefarious. Shadows whispered promises of fear, and promises of truth. Would she uncover the secret? Or would she be lost within its depths? Mia's breath quickened as the figure at the window shifted, the silhouette morphing like mist. It was impossible to determine if it was one of her friends playing a cruel prank or something far worse. Her father slammed his palm against the doorframe, startling her. "Mia, listen to me." His voice cracked, urgency rising like a tide. "You need to trust me." But how could she? He was not himself. The fear radiated off him, a palpable energy that suffocated her thoughts. What had she missed? Where had her father gone during those long hours of work? The figure outside tilted its head, peering in with eyes that glinted like black marbles. It felt like an intrusion, an uninvited guest looking for something. Or someone. What did it want? "Please. Just look at me. I'm your father." He was frantic now, his tone a mix of anger and desperation. The laughter returned, echoing, spinning around her like a cyclone. It filled her head, drowning out the sound of his pleas. She clutched her ears, trying to block it out, trying to think. Then it hit her. Those stories, the whispers about family secrets. Had they been warning signs? She could almost hear their voices, telling tales of households turned dark, of trust twisted into horror. Was this what they meant? Mia glanced back at the window. The figure was still there, watching. Unblinking. Horror washed over her. "Get away from the door, Mia. Now!" Her father shouted, his voice venomous like a snake's bite. The switch flipped. His meticulous safety transformed into something monstrous. Was he trying to protect her, or was he hiding something far more sinister? Panic churned her insides, and she took a step away from the door, feeling as if the walls were closing in on her. Behind her, who or what she could not bear to imagine was beckoning her. "Mia!" Her father growled, anger boiling over now. "I can't hold them off. They can't get in. You have to let me." Mia hurled herself toward the window, her eyes darting from shadows to that maddening figure. She could see it clearer now, fragile and small like a child, but with an aura that sent a wave of dread cascading through her veins. It was not just a giggle. It was a venomous promise whispering through her thoughts. "Mia, don't let them in." The voice echoed faintly again, this time more urgent, more frightened than before. With trembling hands she fumbled for the window lock. Which voice to trust? Her father, her once indomitable protector, or the whisper that, despite its chilling note, rang with sincerity? Did he lie in wait for some unspeakable thing? "Do it," he screeched. "Let me in now." Just then the silence shattered. A thunderous crash came from the back of the house, jolting her. Was it mere coincidence? Or was it them? The shadows curled like smoke, obscuring her vision, every instinct screaming for her to run, to hide. She froze as a soft hand slid softly over her shoulder, warm yet electrifyingly cold. "Mia, it's safe now, it's safe." Mia's heart pounded wildly. Who was it? That voice was laced with something familiar. Did she trust that hand? And what awaited her if she turned from the door, the thing restless outside? Mia's instincts coiled within her, a battle raged. One that could consume her whole, with life-altering decisions hanging in the balance. She felt the pull of the darkness close in, tighter than ever. "What will you do, Mia?" The shadows whispered, swaying with the impending chaos enveloping her. Just then, another voice erupted from behind, a woman's voice that sent a rush of trepidation through her. "Mia, get out now." Had the woman been part of the laughter too? Who else was there waiting for her? In that moment she was no longer just a girl in a house. She was at the edge of a choice that had consequences written in the dark. Would she succumb to the beckoning? Or would she uncover the truth before it consumed her whole? What lay outside those walls, beyond familial bonds, slithered between safety and an unknown horror. In the heart of this quagmire Mia had to decide. Step forward toward the malevolent darkness, or retreat into the arms of the very thing she feared. What would she choose? Mia's heart hammered against her ribcage, drowning out the terrifying echoes sifting through her mind. The hand on her shoulder tightened, as if trying to anchor her in that moment. Every fiber of her being screamed at her to move, but the choice paralyzed her. "Mia, listen." The familiar voice continued, wrapping around her like a lifeline amid the chaos. "I'm your aunt. We have to go now." A wave of confusion crashed over her. Aunt? She had never met her. In all her life it had been her and her father against the world, or so she had thought. But as the name registered, she recalled old family photographs that showed shadows of smiles. Questions swirled, mixing with dread. Why was this stranger here? The figure outside the window shifted again, shadows mixing and swirling blindly, revealing a glimpse of its face. Was it a child? A grin stretched across its features, wide and unnatural. The laughter echoed louder, now joined by whispers that beckoned her closer. "Mia, you have to help us." "Help you?" she gasped, the words tumbling out in disbelief. It felt like a trap, sticky and thick around her. "Why should I trust any of you?" "Because I know the truth," her aunt replied, her grip steady on Mia's shoulder. "Your father is not who you think he is. You must come with me if you want to understand." Another shudder ran through the house, rattling the windows. The door rattled as if the darkness itself wished to spill inside. "Get away from her!" her father shouted, fury boiling over. "You don't know what she is." "What are you talking about?" Mia shot back, grappling with the emotional blast. "What's going on here?" The laughter outside erupted into a cacophony, twisting and blending into anguished cries that echoed in her ears. The walls felt as though they were closing in, each breath tightening the vice around her throat. "Mia, don't listen to them." He lunged at the window, desperation taking control of his features. "They're coming for you, but I can protect you. You have to let me in." The icy grip of uncertainty wrapped around her mind. Was this the real her father? The one she had idolized her entire life? Or was he hiding a monster behind those once loving eyes? A monster that had emerged from the depths of family secrets long buried. Suddenly, the figure outside lunged. Its hand slapped against the glass, small yet powerful, and Mia felt a surge of dread seep through the room, curling around her like smoke. Nothing was as it seemed. "Time is running out." Her aunt's voice rose above the chaos, clear and urgent. "You're in danger, Mia. We need to leave before the back door exploded inward, splintering wood and sending shards flying." Tremors rattled the house as the figure shouted, "Let us in. We belong here." Mia turned, eyes wide as her father's form morphed, shadows kissing his skin, dark and alive. "No, you don't let them in." His voice cracked, revealing the thin veneer of panic hidden beneath his rage. Mia's instincts screamed for action. Should she flee with the stranger or cling to the desperate man she once called Dad? Choices slashed through her like knife wounds, each one deeper and more agonizing than the last. "Make a decision," her aunt cried, her tone laced with both urgency and fear. Mia's mind raced, the air thick with uncertainty. Shadows danced, mocking her hesitation. Every split second felt like eternity, thick and suffocating. And then, in a heartbeat, she made her choice. But what awaited her on that path? And what darkness would she unleash? Mia barely registered her choice, her heart still pounding as the shadows swirled around her. The looming figure beyond the door matched the laughter that twisted through the air like an angry wind. "Let us go," her aunt shouted, pulling Mia toward the back of the house, urgency spilling from her every word. The echoing laughter outside grew nearer, a cacophony of shrill notes that echoed of lost souls. "No!" Mia's father screamed, desperation clawing at his voice. He scrambled towards her, reaching out as if to reclaim her, his face twisted in panic. "You don't understand. They will take you. They have to take you." A part of her wanted to stay, to trust the man she had called Dad her entire life. But another, perhaps stronger part, sensed the truth buried beneath his raging cries. "Mia, please." Her aunt's grip tightened, pulling her hard toward the open doorway of the adjoining kitchen. They crashed through the entrance just as the air thickened, dark and suffocating. The house creaked ominously as they darted through, each step tearing Mia further from the familiarity she had only begun to grasp. She glanced back once, locking eyes with her father. In that moment, a flicker of regret pierced her heart, the longing for the love he had always shown her. "Don't look back," her aunt warned fiercely. But the moment was crushed as the dark figure erupted inside the living room, shrieking like a banshee. Its head turned sharply, locking its gaze onto Mia. The laughter returned, chilling her to her core. "Help us! Help us!" it screeched, and that insistent yearning twisted something within her gut. They sprinted through the kitchen, the air humming with familiar scents that now felt like poison. Her aunt led her to a door that opened into an alleyway. "Keep moving." Mia hesitated, fighting against the darkness coiling deeper inside. "What is happening? Who are you?" Her voice trembled, fear pulsating as she desperately searched her aunt's eyes for answers. "I'm here to help you unleash your true self," her aunt shouted back, urgency dripping from every word. You're not just Mia. You are so much more. Your father has kept it from you, but no. I can't. Before she could process what was unfolding, another form shot past them, weaving through the alleyway like a shadow dashed in fear. It was another child, wild-eyed and frantic. They're coming. They're coming for you. Mia stumbled backward. What do you mean? Who? But before the child could answer, the shadows twisted around them like a living cloak. The figures outside had gathered, a grotesque assembly of lost souls. They beckoned, their voices a chilling harmony that echoed, Mia. We need you. Frantic, Mia turned to her aunt. What does it mean? What do they want from me? Her aunt's face paled as a realization flickered across her features. They want you to join them. They want your power. Nausea rolled through Mia, the truth hitting her like a freight train. Power? What power? Mia! Another shriek erupted from behind her, a palpable wave of energy resonating through the air. The figures were closing in, and she felt it, the weight of fate bearing down on her. Would she unleash the power buried deep within? Run! Her aunt yelled, pulling her forward just as the darkness surged. Mia's pulse raced as they raced toward the unseen. The world around her felt as though it would crumble, murderous whispers promising secrets and betrayals. With each desperate step, the reality of her lineage unspooled. Would she embrace that darkness? Or be crushed beneath the weight of those who called her back? The alley twisted and turned, but no matter how fast they ran, the shadows followed, hungry, relentless. And then a voice broke through, sharp as glass. The truth is an avalanche, Mia. You can't hide from what you are. The darkness flickered momentarily before her, a canvas of potential and peril. Choices lay ahead, shimmering with both promise and dread. What would she decide? The chase pressed in, the illusion of safety vanishing like smoke always just out of reach. Something within surged, and Mia felt a spark leap at her fingertips. The moment had come, and with it, the choice that could haunt her forever. And with the darkness encroaching, she knew whatever path she took, there would be no turning back. Mia stumbled through the alley, her heart thundering as the laughter of the shadows grew into a menacing roar. Her aunt tugged her forward, urgency boiling in every frantic pull. They weaved through the darkness, a chokehold of despair pressing against Mia's rib cage. Mia, remember. Focus. Her aunt shouted, glancing back at the chaotic figures that swarmed closer. Your power is in your fear. Use it. But what power? The question clawed at Mia's mind even as the shadows loomed, reaching for her like skeletal hands. Her doubts echoed amid the cacophony. She sensed the horror wreathed in each cackle, twisting their cries into something that both tantalized and terrified. Use what? She hollered back. All I feel is terror. Yes, and that's the key. Embrace it, channel it. Her aunt's voice faded as another scream pierced the night. It wasn't just any scream. It was another child pleading, lost in a web of hopelessness. They will take you, Mia. Don't let them. Mia's legs faltered for a frantic beat. Take me where? What do I do? Suddenly, a figure burst from the shadows ahead, eyes wide and desperate. It wasn't just a child, it was a girl, maybe a year older than Mia, with wild hair that screamed of chaos and pain. You can't run forever. Join us. No, Mia yelled instinctively, shaking off the girl's grasp as they rushed past her. Yet the girl's voice carried a haunting resonance, dancing through Mia's mind like a death knell. She slowed, glancing back. The girl was still there, now flickering as if caught between two worlds. You belong with us. Break free. Her heart raced. Break free from what? But the girl only continued to dissolve into the shadows, swallowed whole as those darker shapes lurked closer. The shadows howled and swirled around Mia, becoming a tempest of lost souls clawing at the edges of her sanity. Focus. Her aunt urged again, clutching Mia's arms, her eyes wild. You can fight them, but you must realize your truth first. Mia felt hot breath against her ear, whispers clawing through the night. Join us, they echoed with twisted promises of acceptance that bled through her skin, igniting the rumbling power deep within. I can't. Mia shouted. I can't do this. The shadows hesitated for just a second, enough for panic to surge through her. A flicker of light glimmered in her periphery, a fleeting sense of hope that ignited something deep inside. Was it just her imagination, or did she perceive the world ahead turning? Mia, listen. Remember your mother. Her aunt's voice cut through the darkness, a lifeline extending across churning chaos. Mom? Yes. She was stronger than you know. You have her spirit within you. Unleash it. The memories came flooding back, packaged moments of laughter, love and warmth. They surged, battling against the icy grip of fear. But as they surged, so did the shadows, hungry for that very spark. No. Get away from me. The words burst from Mia, primal instinct fueling her response. Suddenly, a sharp sensation erupted at her fingertips, and with it, a rush of fire coursed through her veins. It felt electric, a vortex of energy beckoning to break free. Before she could think, she raised her hands instinctively, the air shifting around her becoming almost tangible, vibrating with potential. Do it, Mia. Now, shouted her aunt, resolute. A wave of clarity washed over her. All at once she understood. Embracing her fear and her mother's spirit could be the defense she needed against the insatiable darkness swirling hungrily around her. She inhaled deeply, channeling the pain, the memories, the energy building like a hurricane within. No more. Mia screamed as a surge of fire erupted from her fingers, shattering the shadows that dared to claw at her soul. The darkness screamed, recoiling as Mia's power erupted in an explosion of light. But even as she fought back, the shadows hesitated, reeling from the blast, yet ominously regrouping. Set against this wall of fear, Mia and her aunt could barely see the looming shadows rise again, reshaping and returning in greater numbers. Mia! Her aunt gasped, her eyes wide in realization. This is just the beginning. You have to control it. With dread settling in like a heavy fog, Mia stared into the growing darkness, aware that even this victory was just the first skirmish. Would she master the power within or become another lost soul treading the line between light and dark? The overwhelming need to know her truth hung in the air like a storm, as the chilling laughter returned, echoing endlessly in the haunted corridors of her fate. The shadows roared back, a cacophony of swirling darkness that threatened to swallow them whole. Mia's heart thudded in her chest like a drum, drowning out everything but the whispers clawing at her mind. You think you can stop us? You will never escape. Mia, hold on to me. Her aunt shouted, grasping her tighter. The light Mia had conjured still flickered, but it felt fragile now, like a candle fighting a tempest, a beacon against an encroaching abyss. Each shadow that reformed around them carried the souls of the despairing. Faces twisted in agony seemed to emerge, whispering secrets of fear, of hopelessness. Mia shivered. What do they want from us? Her voice barely broke through the chaotic noise. They want to feed on your fear. You have to stand firm. Her aunt replied, urgency matching the dread pooling in Mia's stomach. Mia clenched her fists. The fire inside her was still alive, but doubt trickled in, threatening to snuff it out. But what if I can't? You must. Her aunt insisted, eyes wide. Remember your mother. Her strength is yours. Gathering her resolve, Mia thought of the warm embrace of her mother's laughter, the comfort that had always shielded her from the world. It felt like a distant star, flickering but not extinguished. Taking a deep breath, she summoned that feeling again. Fear morphed into determination. I won't let them take me. With renewed strength she thrust her hands forward, channeling the fire within. Leave us! She shouted, the words bursting forth like cannon fire. Flames erupted around her, morphing the shadows into wisps of smoke. They shrieked, recoiling at the brightness that surged forward. For a moment the alley illuminated like day, and in that light the horror dimmed, forms dissolving into nothingness, but the darkness regrouped, swirling ominously just beyond the edge of her light. They were persistent, and Mia could feel their hunger. We're not safe yet. Her aunt cried, pulling her back as a black shape lunged from the shadows, teeth gnashing. Keep pushing, Mia yelled, forcing the flames to grow hotter, reaching deeper into her core. Heat radiated off her, illuminating the shadows just enough to reveal the horrors lurking just out of sight. Ghostly figures were now apparent, their hollow eyes scanning, begging her to join them in eternal despair. Panic clutched Mia's throat. Would she become one of them? Then she caught sight of the flickering girl again, the one who had called to her before. This time, Mia saw the plea in her eyes beneath the wildness. A realization struck her, a connection. Wait! You're not a part of them. For a split second, the girl stopped moving, and a flash of clarity shimmered across her features. You hold the power. But you have to make a choice. What choice? Let go of your fear, Mia. Together we can defeat them. Pulses of uncertainty coursed through Mia. Could she trust her? But the shadows closed in, hungry roars mixing with the girl's urgent plea. I have to try. Mia shouted, heart racing. Use the fire, Mia. Unite. Flames surged, radiating warmth and light, but shadows still clawed at the edges of her vision. With one last look at her aunt, who nodded fervently, Mia plunged both hands into the swirling energy, sensing a unity forming with the flickering girl. In that pulse of energy, the shadows recoiled as if struck. Yet, their laughter morphed into a deeper growl, a malicious harmony beneath the surface. You think this will end here? They hissed, creeping closer. You will never be free. Mia felt a chill creep up her spine. This wasn't just a battle against shadows. This was a war. Just as the darkness seemed to surge toward them once more, the ethereal girl turned, urging Mia to follow her deeper into the light. This way. There's a way out. But you must believe. Mia's heart raced as shadows slashed at her heels. Could she really trust a voice from the dark? The answer, flooding with desperation, felt both terrifying and liberating. Mia, choose. Her aunt shouted, eyes wild with urgency, but the shadow laughter swelled to a fever pitch, drowning out everything. Whatever lay ahead felt like a choice that would define her forever. With one last glance back, Mia squeezed her aunt's hand and charged forward, deeper into the light, toward a new unknown destiny. What awaited them in the depths? Was it salvation or doom? The shadows swarmed, closing in faster than Mia could comprehend. The choice loomed before her, but what would it truly cost? The light engulfed Mia as she sprinted deeper into the brilliance. Her heart raced, and her mind buzzed with the echoes of fear and hope intertwining into a single melody. The shadows behind them howled in rage, a clawing darkness that stretched its fingers toward her, trying to pull her back into despair. Mia, trust in the fire within you. Her aunt shouted, her voice a guiding beacon against the chaos. At that moment, Mia felt a surge of energy coursing through her raw, unrefined power intertwining with love. It was the essence of her mother that transformed her fear into courage, a flame igniting deep within. I want to let you take me, she screamed, summoning the warmth of that light as they surged ahead. The darkness began to split, thrashing as if fighting to reclaim her. With every step, she pushed back, painting her path with blazing resilience. The shadows shrieked, their anguished cries intertwining with the laughter of the lost. The flickering girl appeared again, grinning, her small frame shimmering with energy. Together, we can break through, she called, a familiar fervor igniting Mia's resolve. Mia reached out a hand, brushing against the warmth of her spirit. Let us do this. A wave of comfort washed over her as she felt the unity building between them. She was not alone. The shadows lunged forward, but Mia, channeling her fear into strength, thrust her hands outwards and conjured flames burning brighter and hotter than before. In that dazzling light, she felt herself bathing in a renewed sense of identity. You don't control me, she shouted, each word a declaration of defiance. The darkness twisted, faltering under the heat, yet it churned, regrouping into monstrous shapes. Fight. They feed on your hesitation, her aunt encouraged, her grip unwavering as they moved together. Gathering all her might, Mia let the flames swirl outward, creating a protective barrier of light. The shadows, shrieking in horror, began to lose substance, their forms flickering like dying embers. Everybody deserves to be free, she yelled, the words tasted bittersweet in her mouth, echoing the hope within her heart. Suddenly, the scream of one last shadow emerged from the depths. A dark figure, larger than the others, writhed with rage, its face twisted into something maddening. Mia, you are mine, it howled, a voice so familiar it chilled her to the bone. Her father's face surged into view, eyes wild, filled with sorrow and desperation. Memories flashed before her. Laughter, warmth, lessons of love. How could he be here, twisted into this menace? You must embrace who you are, he cried, reaching for her. Let me show you, Mia faltered, a lump swelling in her throat. No, the real you would never hurt me. The shadows crept closer, and she pushed back against the tide, understanding now what he truly intended. Don't listen to him, her aunt urged, her eyes fierce with conviction. He in their grasp. Mia straightened, the whispers swirling into a tempest that threatened to consume her. With one last surge of power, she unleashed the flames anew, rising above it all, fueled by love and fierce will. You will not take me. She spoke with authority, and a blinding light erupted from her. Piercing through the gathering darkness, the monstrous figure screeched, and the shadows shrank away, unable to withstand the intensity of Mia's resolve. Remember, you are free. It will not claim you. In that brilliant glow she sensed a shift. The chaotic heart of darkness dissolved, and light washed over the ground, driving the shadows to retreat. Mia closed her eyes, breathing heavily as the energy crackled in the air. Mingling with triumph, a moment of silence enveloped them. When Mia opened her eyes, she saw her father emerging from the shadows, the rage melting off his face, revealing anguish and clarity. His shoulders fell, and he looked at her with a mixture of sorrow and love. Mia, my sweet girl, I've been lost. The darkness transformed into a gentle glow around them, and the flickering girl smiled. You did it. You broke the cycle. Mia turned, bathed in the warmth of understanding. I can reclaim my family. Her father stepped forward, eyes glistening with regret and relief. Forgive me, Mia, I couldn't fight it. Then let us heal together, she replied, a newfound strength coursing through her veins. They embraced, a rubbing warmth spreading, healing through the cracks of their bond. Shadows curled around the edges, thinning before the dawn that was unfolding. Mia pulled back and faced her aunt, gratitude illuminating her features. Thank you for guiding me. Just remember, darkness may always lurk, but courage and love will always light the way, her aunt replied. As they emerged from the alley, the sun began casting golden rays over their town, illuminating the path they had wrested from the throes of despair. With newfound freedom, Mia knew the journey was not over. They would face challenges, but they would face them together. Just as it should be. The whispers faded into the depths. Healing had begun, and they were ready to embrace a future built on love, not fear. And there, amidst the warmth of the rising sun, Mia could finally breathe. This is the moment to reflect on what you've just experienced. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss the next exclusive stories, filled with suspense and heart. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and ensure our community grows stronger. We want to hear your thoughts, reactions, and theories about this shocking ending. Flood the comments section. And don't forget, share this video immediately with at least 5 friends who need to witness this emotional journey. Don't wait even one more second. Only true fans know the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. So let us connect.